Ashley.
Hi.
Hi. We've just met and we've been introduced for the purpose of having this conversation.
Yeah.
And you seem like such a fascinating person because you're the intersection of somebody who was in the past in enablement and education at Tableau, part of the Blueprint program. Now you're a Tableau customer.
Yeah.
And you seem like a very apt set of experience to speak to me about this answer that I'm trying to get to at the bottom of at this year's Tableau conference. Where is Tableau today?
Tableau's in an interesting spot. Maybe one that a lot of people never envisioned for it.
Right.
I think it is still alive and well in a lot of ways, but it's also at a period of intersection where the world is changing around Tableau faster than Tableau can change. And I think it's leaving a lot of people wondering what the future is for it.
Yep. That's exactly the tact that we're taking with our customers, is to help them decide, what do I do with my Tableau stack?
Yep.
Right? Because in the past year or two, literally everything has changed all around them. And you actually are a Tableau customer as well.
I am. So I was a customer before I came to Tableau, and I joined right around the IPO. So it was a really fun time to join. And then about 2 years ago, I was part of a Salesforce layoff, and I landed at a customer. So sort of bookended the journey with being a customer, but sort of in the middle, getting to help shape the product and shape the company. I was really lucky to be an evangelist at Tableau.
Yeah, what a dynamic switch. Okay, so you're the first Tableau customer that I'm speaking to in this particular series trying to answer this question. What do you do with your Tableau stack? How do you go about evaluating that decision?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple of components. I think what a lot of people don't realize is Tableau Server is a governance layer around VizQL. So all Tableau Server is really doing is rendering a viz according to a set of instructions that have been given to it. VizQL is a language. It interfaces between the data warehouse and an individual. And I think the value of visualization is still there today. VizQL, the language underneath, actually could be used out in the world in many ways that is not just a business intelligence tool. So that definitely still has value, but the entire wrapper that has been put around VizQL, all of the structure of governance, of data engine, of Hyper, of now all of the data governance and catalog, the question is, does that continue to serve a purpose in the next age of Tableau?
How do we evaluate that question?
I think you have to think about the components separately. I think if you start breaking it apart and you start saying, is this component, if I was today making the decision for my business about what I need, if this component of the Tableau stack is what I'm purchasing, is it the thing I would be purchasing or not? Or would I be looking for a different tool to do this because that tool is better set up in this day and age to provide value for the business?
That's a really deft tack to take to the sunken cost fallacy.
Yep.
Right? Would I make this investment today from scratch, never mind that I made it yesterday?
Correct. And I think, in my role post Tableau, I talked to a lot of early founders of startup companies. And one of the things that I talk with them about is you have to fall in love with the problem, not the solution. And I think what a lot of people in the Tableau world have done is
we went goo-goo for the solution.
Exactly. And I think sometimes we need to step up a second and say, like, we're actually here to solve a problem. And Tableau, in a way, was a platform that hosted a community. And I think a lot of the reasons why people stay, and one of the reasons why Tableau became so valuable, was the product was actually the community, not a VizQL rendering tool.
That's a fascinating perspective. Okay, now I want to shift directions because you were also, when you were at Tableau, instrumental in the blueprint and the data culture work. I'm very interested in the data culture work. I've built a whole data analytics assessment maturity model that helps me to objectively measure the maturity of an organization. So I want to ask you about mediocrity in data in general. Right? So these LLMs are median making machines. They're going to give you the average answer. and everybody's goo-goo over the average answer, right? Yep. And it seems as though in big business today, especially in big business, that's exactly what everybody wants. And they're comfortable with bad visualization. They're comfortable with suspect data. They're comfortable with bad practices. And so just tell me about, like in some ways, to bridge the two conversations, if Tableau was a platform where the community was the product, that community was goo-goo over this idea that we could change this inert stasis of mediocrity in data in business. And by all means, that inertia is still there, larger than ever, in my view.
It's still there, it's just dispersed in a way that before it was concentrated. But I agree with you, it's still there, that energy is still there. And I think that's actually why a lot of people on the surface are excited about AI. They don't realize that it is moving them towards the mean. They are getting really fast results, they are getting that dopamine hit of an answer, but it's not yet a partner in making you a better decision maker. And I think that's the components that's missing. So if you know a lot about data, if you know a lot about your organization, you can prompt it to get it there. But on its own, AI can't help the organization be better decision makers yet.
And so if it's not a data culture that's needed, right? Because before we started recording, you mentioned that the data culture was needed 10 years ago. Today, what's needed?
Today, what I'm calling collective intelligence. So if you bring AI together with BI, you get CI, or collective intelligence, which is an actual scientific term.
ABC.
ABC, exactly. But it's not as simple as just adding AI together with BI. And I think that's what people don't realize yet. So BI being the data rich in the organization, you can't just slap AI on top of it. You have to do the work to break down the walls in the organization, because what organizations need are disparate dots being connected together in new ways. And AI can help surface that, but it doesn't have the context yet to be able to understand when this thing over here meets this other thing over here, and before now they've never been connected together, that has value. And AI can't do that yet.
The cabling up of that context, especially in a very large organization, is just a massive volume of effort. I think there's a sort of naive optimism.
And I think we're also one data breach away, from $100 million plus oops. That's really going to cause executive leaders to stop and think, is this maybe the best path? The company I'm at right now, Carta, we have adopted one of these tools company-wide. And the other day I had to get something to our HR team, personally identifying data in it. And I was like, I don't know what platform I can share this to our HR team with, because this AI tool now has access to our email, to Slack. It's connected into Workday.
How can I share it without?
How can I share this? I'm like, are we back to FTP sites?
You're back to the thumb drive.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Can I walk over this piece of paper to you? Because I'm not comfortable with it being shared, and we haven't really figured out governance around AI yet.
So the entire industry, in my view, is just in this sea change moment where the wind is blowing in all directions, right? What we were all goo-goo for before is now suddenly out of fad. What we're all goo-goo for now is a median-making machine. Right? And what's needed is collective intelligence.
Yeah, and I think the only way to get there is when the data and the model, the algorithm, the AI, is on two separate platforms. I think every major data breach, you think Cambridge Analytics, it's when the data and the platform and the algorithm are all owned by the same entity. And so I think what is missing today is that layer in between that keeps the data value as proprietary information to the organization. I mean, if you took a family photo and you put it in Adobe and you created something new with that, Adobe wouldn't own your family photo and they wouldn't own what you created. And the fact that we're just so afraid that we're going to miss out on being ahead, that we're willing to give up that value to these organizations is just bonkers. It's bonkers. Absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
And so I don't think we really actually start getting value until we start adding additional layers into the stack that just don't exist yet.
Yep. Okay. And so to bring it back to Tableau to close, where will Tableau be 2 to 3 years from now? And if I'm a decision maker, I'm making a big bet on what I need in my infrastructure, how I need to build my stack, how I need to change my company culture. What does that look like in the next 2 to 3 years?
Well, I think, you know, a lot of organizations have put substantial amount of time into the data sources that exist in their Tableau server.
Massive investment.
And I think that has huge value still. I don't necessarily think that my personal opinion, the agentic style of AI that is a black box is really going to help organizations get anywhere. I think over the next couple of years, we're going to start seeing some really cool tools, and there's been a couple out there that have been announced recently that I think are going to change the game in how people are able to engage with AI in the data space in particular. Some really exciting stuff out on the horizon.
Yeah, so we're in this ripe moment where the ground is fertile for new products to surface.
Correct.
They've begun to surface now. Everybody's kind of looking at their Tableau environment saying, what am I going to do with this? And how the pieces play out, we're just going to have to wait and see.
Yeah, I think the next year is going to be a really interesting time. You know, I would be the first to say that we are evaluating whether we renew or not in the coming year. You know, we're doing a lot of work today on moving our data infrastructure further back into Snowflake.
You got to push it down. You got to
You've
push it
gotta-
all down.
Exactly, and that we have to start managing it with row-level security at the database level. And that's the only way that we can allow these AI models to start engaging with that data, because those AI models have to absorb our row-level security as every individual
They have to be
user.
subject to it as would any human.
Exactly.
Yep.
And so then those AI models become a level that engages with a human. And I think we're going to get to a period of time where a human's going to have to sign off on every decision made from AI. Otherwise, there's no accountability in an organization. And I think slowly we're going to move there, piece by piece by piece.
With some fumbles along the way that perhaps nudge the direction in one way or the other.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, in my view, the role of the expert in that transition is not necessarily going away. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they just are going to have a new home in the organization. I think, you know, if we look at sort of data culture in the next era, those knowledge pieces that we talked about in data culture, I think those are more important than ever. People understanding the difference between an average and a median and a mode, the difference between what's going on at the 75th percentile and what's going on at the 25th percentile, that knowledge that you need to understand data, that doesn't go away with AI. And so what I think data culture will become in this next era is that we're going to still use data in organizations. I think organizations themselves are going to write themselves around using data in a way that maybe hasn't happened previously, but all of those employees are going to have to come along.
Yep.
And so all of those enablement roles that we had before, they're just going to take on a new tone, but they're still desperately needed in organizations.
Got it. Well, thank you, Ashley. This has been a great conversation.
It's been great to chat with you.
Yep. Okay. Bye-bye.
It's time for action.
It's time for